much. So big. So I woke up this morning in Facebook jail. But they didn't give me 30 days this time. They only gave me 24 hours. I can't comment. I can't even like a post. I can't post anything. I can't do anything. It's restricted. It's shut down. They shut me down. Apparently, on a post it said, if you walked into your house and all of your exes were standing inside, what would you do in 3 words? And my reply was, burn it down. And apparently that's frowned upon. But meanwhile, out in the Facebook world, the Taliban and ISIS have had Facebook pages for years and post all kinds of stuff, but that's perfectly fine. That's legit. It's okay. They can get away with it. Look at the beautiful work that the Walker does. Beautiful. So ever since we got all that rain, the grass has gotten a lot more difficult to cut. It's grown in a lot and thicker, but there he is, over there. Just when it seems like you're out of projects, you find a new one. We'll discuss that thing later. Everything come out all right in there, Connor?
Yeah.
He had to get to the bathroom. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room.
Oh.
So, why do I have this? Because Randy never stops buying projects, that's why. Don't you guys know this by now? You must be new. I kind of couldn't pass this up. So Billy's been on me about another Walker B, and he wants another one, wants me to buy a new one. I'm not buying another new one. So I've been scanning Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for whatever's out there for walkers, and pretty much they're kind of non-existent in my area for the most part. There's only 3 Walker dealers, they're all spaced pretty far apart, and nobody around here really runs them. I'm like the only one. So there's not a lot of them around, and what there is around, everybody wants an arm and a leg. So to get another one like that one over there, a GHS walker, I found 4 or 5 of them on there, and the cheapest one I found was $3,800 and it had 4,200 hours on it. So guys want an arm and a leg for them. So I stumbled across this little gem. Now, it has a 20 horse Kohler Command. I think it needs valves, to be honest with you. It starts up, it starts no problem, it runs, but it does puff some white smoke, and every once in a while some oil drips out the muffler, which is usually a good sign that it needs rings. But I wasn't concerned with that. I could fix that engine, or it's worth it. When I tell you in the end what I paid for it, it's worth it to just put a new engine on there. At that point, I probably wouldn't even put a Kohler. I'd probably just go buy a cheap freaking Predator motor from Harbor Freight or something, put it on. I'd probably get it for $800-900 and put it in there. It'd be good to go. And I know Harbor Freight's like fish in the toilet, but I know a lot of people have bought Predator engines and had 0 issues with them. Everybody seems to love them. So anyway, that's not the point. The point is this is a Walker MTSD. Now that one over there is an MT GHS. So it's not exactly a B, but it's pretty similar. So right here is where the blower would go if you ran it as an MT. Here's the plate you would take out that the tube for the blower would come up through, and then into the hopper if there was one there. So seat down. It has this part that comes down. Now this is pretty large actually, and this is this dumps like that. So if you got stuff in there, material, and you need to dump it out, it dumps, and that's pretty fancy right there. But this is the machine. So it has the one single fat wheel in the back. My MT GHS over there had a single wheel in the back, but it was the 2 wheels. So I don't know, what you guys know, I put the split tail wheel kit on there. I'm a huge fan of it. So anyway, it has a single wheel on there. It did come with a 48-inch, he says 48, I think this is a 42. It might be a 48, I don't know. But anyway, it's a mulch deck. So I've never tried a mulch deck, and I've always wanted to try one. It does have brand new tires and rims on it. He just put on at the end of last year. And he did a couple other things to it at the end of last year, but it does mow, it runs, it drives, it tracks to one side, which is no big deal. On walkers, it's usually, you adjust that there, or that one right there, and that adjusts your tracking. The PTO handle is supposed to be laid down here. For some reason it's up there and doesn't go down, and then you pull it back to engage the blades and they're locked in. And what I found was when I was trying to mow with it, it'll stay like that for a few minutes and then it'll pop forward and disengage the blades. So that's just got to be taken apart, and that handle brought back down to where it's supposed to be, so that when you lift it up all the way, it engages. When you shut them off, it goes down like the other one. I did already order a new leather comfort seat for that, the same one that we just put on that one over there. So the seat will be replaced, but so it needs work. It needs, it doesn't seem like anything's been greased on this. The deck is fine. The bottom of the gearboxes looked a little wet. They're not dripping, but looked a little bit wet. And it's probably, so it probably needs seals in the bottom of the gearboxes, no big deal. I got tons of spare seals in the toolbox over there for walkers. So that's no big deal. but it needs the hydros gone through. I'm going to flush the hydros out. I'm sure there's going to be air in them. I'm going to bleed them out. I'm pretty sure it needs the carb cleaned. I'm going to do that. It's just an all around, I need to go through it. Just a bunch of maintenance to it, clean it up, and put the new seat on. And I'll figure out the engine and what I got to do with that. But other than that, it's a nice little machine. So I'm probably not going to keep that 48-inch mulch deck on there. What I'm probably going to end up doing, and actually the reason why I got it is so that I can put my 48 collection deck back on my GHS over here, and then take this 56 side discharge deck and put it on the new machine. This is a 20 horse. The B19 also had a 56 side discharge, and if you guys watch the video, you've seen the 3-foot tall stuff I used to take down with that. So but if you look at this deck here, this is a 48-inch collection deck. This deck looks way bigger than this deck over here. Now, Walker is famous for their 42-inch decks. It's a very common deck for them, and I'm pretty darn sure this is a 42-inch deck, mulch deck. But either way, this deck will probably go bye-bye, or I'll just stick it in the corner, and I don't know what I'll do with it. So, what did I pay for it? So the guy wanted $1,500 for it, and I got there to look at it. He was supposed to be there, he wasn't there, and so I went through the whole thing, checked it out. I called him up and I said, I'll tell you what, dude, I'll give you $1,200. It needs some work. I know what it needs. I know these machines like the back of my hand, probably better than anybody. I know what it needs, and I know what's going to cost me to fix it, and I'm going to sink some money into it. So to be honest with you, I would have gave him the $1,500 because I mean, the whole machine itself is solid and everything's there. It only has 1,200 hours on it. It was worth the $1,500 all day, probably a lot more than that in a lot of areas. So anyway, we settled on $1,300. So I gave him $1,300 for it, and now we have it. And so there'll be a lot more to come with this machine and a lot of videos for this machine. Because as usual, I looked on YouTube, and every time I punch in Walker MT or Walker MTSD, there was no info. Nobody has any videos on this particular Walker. And the more and more I scanned, all I kept doing is finding all my own videos. Because any of you that have been following me for a long period of time know that I literally have more videos pertaining to Walker mowers than anybody in the entire world. I think I bypassed Walker themselves by over 400 videos. So yeah, just my videos kept coming up. A few by Ken from KLC, a couple by Jason Ambrose, and then a couple by Brian Shane. He's probably the second close to me as far as putting out Walker videos, but most of his aren't titled that, so they never pop up. But anyway, I think it's going to be a nice machine, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So, and Conrad's happy, and because he's got a new love for Walkers, and I know Billy's happy, but he's kind of holding back right now. He hasn't even seen it yet, so he knows we got it, but he hasn't seen it. So
I told him that we didn't buy it.
Yeah, Conrad, when we went out to get it last night, Conrad he snapped him and he said we didn't buy it because it needed too much work and the boss doesn't like projects. So when I got home, Billy's like, I knew he was lying right there. As soon as he said, he goes, I actually believed him for a minute. He goes, but then as soon as he said the boss doesn't like projects, he goes, I knew it was a lie right there. So my boy knows me, right? So anyway, we got to do a bunch of maintenance to two Skags. It's been a long day. We are both very exhausted, but these Skags, the decks need scraped, blazing sharpened, and both these decks very badly need re-leveled. So we're going to re-level these decks real quick because, I don't know, setting them at 3 3/4, I swear they're cutting at 3 or maybe 3 1/4. They're not cutting right at all. So we're going to do that. But tomorrow's another day, and I think the beginning of this video was some footage from yesterday that Conrad recorded, but just going to get that mower last night and get back late, there's just too much to do. And
I don't think we got back until around
plus my wife's aunt passed away, so we've been dealing with that. God rest her soul. What an amazing woman in her late 90s, and she could probably kick the crap out of all you guys. Just a trooper, great woman, but God bless her. The Lord needed her more than we did. So there's been a lot going on, and there was no editing of video last night. So this one will go up today, and We'll make another one tomorrow. Alright then. What were you about to say? What? What are you gonna do with that gun? You try going after my private area? This is a family channel! You can't do that on here.
What did I do?
What are you doing? Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
Oh man. Conrad, did you screw up my impact gun? What did you do?
I don't know. Oh, okay.
Alright. Don't press any buttons. This is a family channel. You can't touch my parts.